Hey, I'm Dr. Sakire. Today we are going to install the Java runtime environment, the Eclipse IDE, troubleshoot the red exclamation point if you have one, and then create helloworld.java file. So here I'm going to show you how to set up the Eclipse Integrated Development Environment, or IDE, on a personal computer. So in order to be able to write programs or Java programs using Eclipse, you need to have the JDK and you need to have the Eclipse software downloaded. So Eclipse runs on top of Java. It's Java based. And so we have to have the Java runtime environment in order for Eclipse to work properly. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to download the JDK. What you'll want to do is go to Google, type in JDK, and it should be the very first link that comes up as in the search results. So just click on Java downloads, and then you will see Java 2221. We're just going to pick JDK 22. And I have a Windows machine, so that's the one I'm going to click on. But as you can see, if you have a Mac or a Linux, you can also download the appropriate one for your use. Scrolling through our notes here, we see that we are going to be choosing our x64 installer. So we'll go back and click on our x64 installer. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to see a little arrow up in the right-hand corner, and it's going to show you about how long it's going to take. It looks like mine is going to have 10 seconds. So anytime that happens, I'm going to stop the video and then restart it. I won't do that for this one because by the time I'm done there, it's downloaded. So now going back to our instructions, we'll see that we have that downloaded, and we can also see that on my personal computer where I'm going to be downloading it to. So going back to my instructions here, I'm going to just click the little open file and location button, and I'm going to double click on the JDK, and I get you might not be able to see that in the recording, but it says, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Just click yes. I don't need that up anymore. And it says this software has already been installed. You'll see mine is already installed, but just so that you can kind of go through the steps, I'm going to click yes. Now, this is going to extract. This may take a couple of minutes. When this screen comes up for setup, click next. I'm not going to change where it's going to be saved at. You can let that default. Click next. And then it's going to copy over. So on to step 3, we need to download Eclipse. So we're going to go to eclipse.org, and we're going to download the Eclipse IDE for Java developers. We're not going to use the installer. So here I have eclipse.org downloads, and I'm going to click on, well, this is the one, Eclipse IDE for Java developers, and I'm going to click on Windows x86 64. If you have a Mac or Linux, you could select one of these other options here. So I'll click on that, and it's going to bring us to this screen. We will click the large orange download button, and we'll see it start to download in the upper right-hand corner. Once Eclipse is done downloading, you will see it in your download history. What you can do is click on the Show in Folder button. So click there, and it will bring up your folder. And as you can see, can't really see that well here, but this is in a zipped file. So In order to actually use Eclipse, we're going to need to extract it. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new folder in our hard drive that's called dev. And we're going to extract this to that folder. So in order to do that, you're going to click on this PC, and then you'll double click on your Windows C drive. Now I already have a folder here called dev. That's okay. I'm just going to make a new one. So in order to make a new folder, I clicked on the little folder icon in the upper left-hand corner, but you could very easily right click and select new folder, and then I'm just going to call this one dev 1, but for you, you're going to just call it dev, DEV. And then what will happen is once you double click on that, you'll find your an empty dev folder. So now let's go back to where you extracted your file at. So you can very easily find it by going back to your web browser and clicking on the little folder icon, and it will bring you to your downloads. So you can call your folder whatever you would like, dev1, anything, just remember what you've called it. And we want to extract the Eclipse Java folder to it. So make sure you get back to your downloads. You can get back to your downloads by, on the left-hand side, clicking on the downloads button there. Or if you don't have that for some reason, you can go back to your browser and click your downloads folder, and you should be able to find it there by clicking on the folder button. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click on Eclipse, the zipped folder there, and extract all. Now it's going to ask you, where do you want to extract these files to? Then we'll select use project folder as root for source and class files. That way, all of those programs that we create will fall under the Java prog folder. Then create module info.java file will already be checkmarked. You can leave those both default and then click next. Here we'll just click finish. Now something unfortunate has happened. Because I already had Eclipse installed on my machine before, and then I removed it and started kind of playing around to kind of give you an idea of how to install it, I now have run into a bit of a problem. And so this is going to be one of those very few videos that not only show you how to install something, but also how to correct problems if you run into something like this. So what I did was, while I wasn't recording, is I went back into my folders and I removed that dev1 folder that I created, because I thought, oh, okay, I'll just delete that and then delete the paths. So I took the paths out of the system variables, or the environment variables rather. And so I thought, oh, okay, that should fix the problem. Well, I did not take into consideration that I had also installed Java before. So let me show you the worksheet or the little checklist, and then you can see some of the troubleshooting steps that you can do if you get the little red exclamation point. So going back to our guide, we can follow a couple troubleshooting steps to see if this is what the problems are. So I'm pretty sure this is what my problem is right here. You have two directories in your C drive, program files, x86. So we know where we installed our program files, so I'm not going to mess with that. But we could have installed our program files in 2 different places. And I know for sure I did, or because I just installed this a few days ago. So what we need to do is go to add remove programs. So I'm just going to type in the search box and click add, and then click on add remove programs. And then it says search in this list, type in Java, and you can see right here's where my problem is. So I am going to uninstall the version 20. Actually, now I'm thinking about this may not exactly, after I click uninstall, it says, do you want to allow changes? Click yes, so select that. And then it says you gotta close these, sure, click OK. And then it's getting required information. I might have to do a reboot. We shall see. We'll see if this is what the problem is. If one way doesn't work, we can always try letting the Eclipse know where our JRE is. So here we could go to Window, Preferences, and then up at the top type Java, and then scroll down to where it says Install JREs and highlight that. Then click Add, and then select Standard VM, choose Next, click on Directory, navigate to our hard drive, Program Files, Java, JDK 22. Select Folder, then click Finish. You'll see the old JRE is clicked or selected, so we want to select the one that we just pointed to. Then click Apply and Close. Once you've tried those 2 or 3 things, that should clear up the problem. However, you may still see the red exclamation point. So what you can do now is kind of redo your project. So to test it, I already tested it out, so let's try again. Well, right click on, you'll be clicking on the one that has a red exclamation point. Click delete. And it says remove project, yes. Because basically when we recreate it, it should repoint everything, and then all of your paths should be correct and everything should be able to find each other. So that's what we're trying to do here. To create a new project, go to File, New, Project. You can type in Java again, but it looks like mine is right there at the top, Java Project. Click Next. Here I'm going to call it Java Prog with the same logic as last time. This time I'm going to change it to use a project-specific JRE. Since we just designated one, we should point to it. And I want to use project folder as root for source and class files. Everything else looks good. Click Finish. Now what you should see is that you don't have a red exclamation point anymore. If you still have a red exclamation point, then you should come see me and maybe I can help troubleshoot it with you if you're in my class this summer. If you're not in my class this summer, you can leave a question down below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Now let's create a new class. So we'll go File, New, Class. We can leave the package blank. Name, what do we want to name it? So if you are doing an assignment for class, you might have whatever course you're taking, you may name it something that your instructor designates for you. For me, I'm just going to call it Hello World. Then I'm going to check mark public static void main. I don't need constructors. I don't need to inherit. I don't need to generate comments. I guess you could if you wanted to, and then click finish. Now we will add some code in here. I already had it up, so we put system out.println, and then we open parentheses, and every time we open something, we close it. So we have open parentheses and a close parentheses, and then we have a quotation, and everything that we type in between these two quotes will display on your screen. So here we're typing in hello world. We always end these types of statements with a semicolon, and you also want to make sure that your brackets match up. So you have an open bracket up here that opens the program, you have a closed bracket down here, and everything in between is part of the program. Now we have another statement here. Public static void main. So the word public means that the method is accessible from anywhere in the application. Static means that the method belongs to this class, not an instance of a class. Void means that there's not going to be any values returned. And then string args, we'll talk about later. It's not going to affect this program at all. But if any of that didn't really make a lot of sense right now, if you're kind of new to Java programming, then don't worry, we'll explain this. Well, I will explain more of this later. It will start to fall into place. So for right now, once you have this typed in system, and it has to be, it's case sensitive. So this S needs to be uppercase. That dot, no spaces between the dot and the out, no spaces in between the print line. So make sure that you type it exactly. Otherwise, it will give you an error. When you're done with that, click run. And in the bottom here, you'll see hello world displayed. And if you were thinking, oh, well, wait a minute, I can make it say something different, like, ooh, programming is cool. Oh. And then hit the run button again. Then it'll just print out exactly what you type in. And that's pretty much it for setting up your IDE, getting started with the program for right now. And I will try to add some more programming tips and maybe some programs up here and walk you through them and show you how to troubleshoot things and stuff like that. So if you stuck with me this far, I hope you liked the video. If not, leave some comments. Let me know what I could do better. If you did, great. You could say that too. If you have questions, leave some comments and I will most definitely get back with you. So thanks and happy programming.